What's up, my loves and fellow creatives? Let me know if you can hear me. And I apologize for my absence lately. I have been grinding and working on these buddy systems and the inserts that you all have been ordering. So I'm excited to know that you all are that excited about it. So it's definitely been having your girl tied up a little bit. But nonetheless, of course, we're going to keep the Photoshop courses going. And this week we had a very much requested template. Like this has been requested for probably over a year now, and it's for the ribbons, and they can be memorial ribbons. You can also use them for graduation, prom, pretty much anything you can think of where you want to commemorate that occasion. And it's basically, you can even be used for awareness. So maybe we'll show a cancer awareness version of it today. So I will be looking for you all's input. So make sure that you are helping me out in the comments here. Awesome, awesome. Now there is about a 15-second delay, so I apologize. So whenever I do need your input, I'll hold for a little bit just to make sure that you all have time to respond to me. Now this template may look very familiar. It was one of the Innate Lab templates. Well, we're going to use it for the Innate Academy course, and if you've ever done this template, you will appreciate that I have simplified it and turned it into a Smart Colors template. So we're going to use this template in order to create ribbon. And the idea is that you can use any of the Innate Lab or Innate Academy templates. If you like the layout, you like the source images, you like the patterns and the way that it's laid out, you can pretty much use those same elements to create the ribbon. All right, so let's go ahead and let's get started with this. So I'm going to show the flip first. We're going to do the image. And let's see. If I was able to grab an image real quick, and I just want to say that I thank you all for sharing your images every single time, whether it's something that's for remembrance or not. You just being willing to share your family and friends and your own personal photos for the templates is a great big deal to me. So I don't take it lightly, and I thank y'all dearly. All right, so I have one image here that is so gorgeous to me. It was really hard to pick, but Deshanta, let me go ahead and pull this up. Let me see if I can cut out the background image there. So I'm going to open up Remove BG just to see if we can remove the background. All right, and then I'll just drag and drop my image right from my folder. Boom, right there. And while I'm here, I didn't do a bad job at all of cutting that out. I'm also going to go ahead and grab the ribbon because I have not mocked it up yet. So if we have time, then I'll show that process. It left a little bit of the ribbon inside of there, but I'm okay with that. So this is just a photo that I took. I snipped about 8 inches of ribbon, and I just did I like a little bit of an angle at the ends, but you don't have to do an angle. You can do it flat if you want to. I will demonstrate next week. We'll actually do a live tutorial where we'll make these together, okay? So for right now, we're just gonna mock it up. So I'm gonna go ahead and download the HD version of this. And then I'll also go ahead and download the HD version of this one. Now I do see like it got a little janky cutting out down there. That shouldn't matter because we're going to fade that part off anyway, but I do want you to pay attention to that sort of thing. Because we can always build that part of the image back if need be. But I think we're going to end up fading it off down here at the bottom anyhow. Alright, so I'm done with Remove BG and hopefully Google Chrome for right now. Let's go ahead and before I flip the template, I'm going to go ahead and save my wallpaperish image. And let's turn off the smart color. So then that way I can go ahead and save this. And let's see, what is up here? What am I missing up here? That's what it is. My cloud layer is not all the way to the top, so let me fix that. I just want it to look neat and clean, so that way when I export it, or when I save as, it's going to have everything it needs to look like just a continuous image, because I could use this for a tumbler. I could use this for a pillow, and I want you all to get used to that. When the whole reason why I'm expanding, these are still beginner level courses. They're a little intense, but if you've never done Photoshop before, the 100 level courses, you'll be able to get through it. I promise you that. As long as your computer can handle Photoshop and you can get through the session, then I got you. Okay, so this may look very complicated, and it is a little complicated, but it's not hard. Okay, and that's the difference. We're going to show you how to take these elements and put them on a different application. So I've shown you how to do tumblers, how you'll take the elements, and remember I told you to have a foreground in the background. That's our foreground. This is our background, and now we can export these elements just like this. Quick export as a PNG. I'm just showing you real quick. I'll call that the background. Now this is the foreground, and I do have an option to mask this off, but I'm going to go ahead and leave it as is. And now I have two very important elements that I can bring into almost any template or workspace that I can imagine. All right, so that's just me showing you that for whatever general purpose. So say you want to do a pillow, and a pillow is square. Well, you can go ahead and bring those two elements in and make sure that you have a square workspace. Then bring in your background, then bring in your foreground, and you can just change the sizing of those independently rather than just having one merged image. All right, so I am going to go ahead and save this as a merged image, and I'm just going to go save as. You know what, I'll do like I told y'all to do in class. If I take everything here and group it and call that art, this is my entire artboard. I'm going to right click and export that as a PNG, and we'll call that the art layer. So I'll show you what I have so far. I'm going to go ahead and group these things. So we have the foreground, the background, the actual art layer. It's taking a little while for that PNG to pop up. And then what I've done is I've exported some of these individual elements, such as the components of the name, the doves, etc. So I'm going to take these and make a new folder. That's our first iteration. I'm going to dump all the stuff into the first folder. So the art, foreground, background, the roses, the smart color, the ribbon template, PNG, first name, last name, and love and memory, and even the doves. All those were exported from this shirt graphic so that we can put it on the ribbon. Oh, and the photo with the wings was also exported. So we'll do a new version of that once we get to this point. All right, so let's go ahead and do our flip. I wanted to make sure that I saved everything so that once I flipped it, I could show this as a shirt and also as a ribbon. All right, let's open up our art folder. And the first thing that I want to change is really the color. I want you all to have a color theme in mind. it can come from your photo, or this can be a graduation image, so maybe the colors of the school or whatever have you. Now you're going to have two smart colors that you can utilize. You can utilize them both or just one of them. I'm going to take you through doing the gradient one because you know I'm crazy about gradients, and it's the easiest one to do because with one smart color you get this whole gradient effect. So let's go ahead and change that out. I'm double clicking on my smart color here, and I am actually, oh, I was supposed to use those balloons. Let me see, I put it up. There we go. I'm going to use this just for a moment, just to pick the colors out of it. All right, now I'm going to duplicate my smart color, and let's change the gradient here. So let's maybe go from the dark gold to the bright gold to not quite white, but very close to it right there in the middle there. Maybe another medium gold and dark gold. So we just made a gradient here based off of these balloons. I can go ahead and delete that because I don't want to make my file any larger than it has to be. Let's say yes to save those changes. All right, and see how my smart color here changed? It's a gradient going all the way from the darkest to that medium gold there. And then I have an option for a second color. So I'm going to change the second color just to show you what it looks like if you did a little pop of color. Let's go with the lilac. Okay, so we'll show the entire color scheme as the gold, and that's really what it's doing right now. And if you notice the gray coming in here in the middle is because I have a little gray here in my image. If I want to change that, then I can actually change the color here to be a little more, have a little more saturation of a hue there and not just, you know, grayed out. So if I want to do that, I can go into my smart color. This area here that's pretty much whited out. Let me grab this medium color here. And then what I'll do is I'll play with a variation of it that's a little bit lighter. And then I need to turn off the color underneath it. That's why I couldn't really tell. There we go. Now I should get a more accurate representation of that color. There we go. And if you like the gray in there, then put the gray back. So I'm just showing you a little gradient here, and this happens to be a monochromatic gradient. You might also go with a you know, contrasting gradient, or a gradient that includes light colors but not necessarily the same hue. All right, so let's go ahead and show. I want to show you a few things that's going on with this template. So we're not going to spend a terrible amount of time on this template. Why? Because it's really, really simple, okay? But what I do want you to understand is that certain elements are able to be changed, but the main thing that we're going to learn is how to bring some of these elements over into the ribbon template and how to use them in a totally different layout ratio. Basically a long, skinny piece of ribbon versus this big old all over shirt. Okay, so that should be teaching you some skills in how to utilize your templates in several different ways. All right, I'm going to go ahead and let's right click here on the rows. I want to go to where it says lighter color, and I want to show you something. I created a version that says lighter color, and I also created a version for darker color. Depending on what color you have selected, these are your adjustment layers. So this happens to be the adjustment called levels. right? So the levels allow us to play with the midtones, the highlights, and the shadows. So in this case, just because we have a color, and I'm going to show you an example, I'll put in the lilac color here, right? So if I turn on the darker color, it lets those shadows kind of take over. But this color is indeed this same lilac color, right? If I turn off the darker color and I just let it be what it is normally, it makes it a little bit darker. But this is usually what you would use for your mid-tone colors, like your reds or your true greens, your royal blues, that sort of thing. Now, if I want to display it as a lighter color, I want more of the highlights to come through, then I'm going to choose the lighter color levels because it allows the brightness to show through a little bit better, gives me higher contrast, and it lets those pastels really shine. You see that? Now, the other thing you can do is you can choose, well, maybe I want color number 2 up top, and then maybe I want color number 1 for the bottom here. So you have that option too. Let's go ahead and show you some other places where you can use the colors here. You have the foreground, you have a smart color there. You could choose the gold or the purple there. You see how we can just kind of remix it? Same thing with the middle clouds. You have a smart color there. You can do the gold or the lilac there. And of course the lilac in this situation gets darker because of the blend mode that's selected here. All right, let's see. Let's go with the background now. The background currently has the gold. We'll go ahead and change it to the lilac. And of course it has its natural colors to it as well. So let's say we want the blue as the background. Maybe we want to do blue and purple, or we want to do another color. That's fine too. I'm going to turn on lighter color here. Darker color doesn't give me what I'm looking for. Go ahead and just turn on the smart color of the purple now, or the lilac color. And see, if I use lighter color, it just lightens those roses up a little bit. Darker, it kind of makes it look a little more grayed out, a little less contrast. But that's it. And that's all we're really going to focus on. And of course you have the roses at the bottom here that have a smart color. So let's change those to purple. So now we just went from the all gold to a lilac, and also we did a mixed version. So if you wanted to have a contrast, let's say maybe your colors are lilac and in this case we're doing gold. Let's bring back some of the gold. And I think in this case, the colors are gold and black for the image, but you can do whatever you like. Okay, and I'm bringing it back to the gold so we can go ahead and change out the photo there. And then finally, the foreground or the front clouds have a smart color on them. And I think I even like it more with just the white down there. But in this case, we're not necessarily using the clouds for a remembrance image, I don't think, because this is looks like a family photo. So we'll just pretend like it's just a fancy family photo and that it's not memorial. So what do we need to take off? Well, we can go here, right click on the wings, and we can turn the wings off. We also have the gate here. We can right click on the gate and turn the gate off. And then even the heaven background, if we right click there and we go to the heaven clouds background, we'll see that we could just straight up go with just the clouds, and it still doesn't necessarily have to be remembrance, because I remember we had a Stairway to Heaven prom theme, and it, you know, just the clouds just kind of give it a very like heavenly feature. It doesn't have to necessarily be remembrance. But if you didn't like the clouds, of course you can take out the clouds as well and pretty much just rock with the roses, or find a different background to put back there. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and take the doves off. So I'll click on the doves folder and turn those off. And let's go ahead and change out finally our photo. So we'll go to where it says photo with the wings. We already turned off the wings. We also have to turn off the halo. And let's go ahead and turn off the photo. Now, I don't want this to be a smart object kind of photo change out, because in this case, like, we have a group photo. So I want you just to be able to drag and drop that photo into this artwork. So let's go ahead and find the photo here. We're just going to drag and drop it right on top of the existing photo. All right, and let's go ahead and make this the size we want. And this is gorgeous already. All right, let's turn off the original image. And then you know how I feel about images. Here we're going to fade this off just on GP, general principle. If I need to use this image, I don't want it having a hard line across the bottom, so let's go ahead and add a layer mask. We'll grab our paintbrush, and of course we'll do this in class. I'm going to hold down Shift Alt, and I'm dragging my right mouse button to make this bigger. I'm just going to give it a little clean sweep down there. All right, and now I can bring my image back down, and I'm not worried about whether it's going to show any hard lines anywhere. And this allows me to make my image bigger. So let's say in this case, it's not going to be in love and memory. So we're going to create a different type of ribbon, because I will show you the template that already has in love and memory. And these are the exact same steps that we would follow. So let's go to in love and memory. And what I'll do, instead of taking off the in love and memory text, because I know a lot of you will want that exact text, I'm just going to right click. I'm going to duplicate the group. And now, instead of this being text in love and memory, let's just say what can we say here? Deshanta, do you happen to be here? If you're here on the live, say something to me so I can get your feedback on what you might want to say here. You know what? Let's make this more of like a family reunion. We haven't done a lot of those, and I think we should definitely start doing it. So let's just say this will be called Family Reunion. And we can call it whatever we want, because we know these are just suggestions, and we know that that we can make this whatever we want. So instead of in love and memory now, I'll go to where the text is. I'm going to double click on the T and change this to let's see, let's just put Family Reunion. Well, do I have an E? It's not showing my E. Does this font not have an E? That would be really messed up if it doesn't. Let me see if it has. This is a personal use font, so it may have characters missing. I've never seen it where it doesn't have an E, but let's see. I'm gonna check in just a moment. How I can check is I can check the characters. Let's see. That would be, it has to have an E because it has one there. So let's go ahead and check the characters. Window, character. My character is right up here. Oh, not the character. I want to know the glyphs. So let's go to Window, Glyphs. Let's see. There's a lowercase e right there. I don't know. Y'all, I don't know why when I'm typing an E it's not giving me an E. But I can certainly find one and put one in there. I don't know if this is just my computer right now or what. It's not showing this E, y'all. I promise I'm typing it in, and I promise I know how to spell reunion. At least today I do. All right, so let me go ahead. I'm gonna save this and open this file back up just in case Photoshop is tripping with this this live and this big old file. Let's check and see. Oh, I love that. We are family. Love it. So maybe maybe I can get a E for the we are family. Let's see. Let me see if I can type in WE. No way. The E is just not showing up. That's crazy because there is literally an E right here. So I know it has an E. It's an E in Terry. All right, so I think Photoshop is finished saving. Let me go ahead and close that one out. And see if I open it back up if the font works. Photoshop gets glitchy sometimes and it's very temperamental. There's not much you can do about it when it wants to throw a fit. It's kind of something like a toddler that you can have your standards and rules all you want, but when it wants to show out, it's going to do just that. So we're letting the toddler show out and we're hoping it calms down, wears itself out, and gets back on track with us. Yeah, it might be because of the curve. I was thinking that maybe it was curving it and making it disappear because it's a sharp turn, but it's not that deep of a curve. So let's see. I'm gonna close it, open it back up, and we'll test that theory as well. If it has to go straight across, I'm not sure. That would be the font designer there. They did something funky if it won't do the I don't know if it's not the correct term isn't kerning. Whatever it is that does the curvature. The font should be able to follow the curve. So yeah, it very well may be doing something funky where it's not following the curve. All right, all right. It's asking me to update text layers. Let me see if I update them, what happens. Let's see. Capital W-E. There we go. Now it wants to work. So I told you Photoshop has its own little mind. It does what it wants to. Okay, so what I want to show you here is that we have this text is curved. And some of you, most of you probably want to use it just like this. But when we do the ribbon, and I'll show you the difference here. When we do the ribbon is really tiny. So this is what I'm teaching you also with this class. We might have the greatest all over shirt design, but when that text gets really tiny and those details get really small, we have to pick and choose what we're going to drag over and onto that ribbon. Okay, so in this case what I did was I did a straight text instead with the same in love and memory idea, and what I'll do, we'll duplicate this layer so we don't change it, and then I'm gonna name this We Are Family. So the reason why I'm doing this is because we are going to use it for the ribbon like that, okay? So let's say for the shirt design, we're going to do the fancy We Family. Like, y'all let me put that. Y'all let me put We Family on there like that. Let's change it to We Are Family. Okay. And then instead of the name here, I'll take the name. I'm going to, in this case, I'm going to have to change out the text here because it has the smart colors attached to it and I don't want to confuse y'all. So I can duplicate all those layers, but I'm going to later change that so that it doesn't make the file larger than it has to be. All right, so let's change this to I'm thinking let me get out of that so I can see black. I thought it was black. Last name was black. Oh, and it fits that everybody's wearing black too. So let's go to this text. We'll double click. Let's say Black Family Reunion. And then see how my smart color isn't coloring anymore? That's because I'm too far out here, so I would either have to shrink my text in or bring my smart color a little bit bigger. And in this case, for where it says Hall, I'm going to take that, duplicate it, and we'll just put maybe 2022. Or maybe 2021, because this would have already happened or coming up. All right. So we changed our text, we changed out our photo. I'm going to make the photo a little bit smaller. Make sure that cute little one is visible there. Okay, so now we've done everything that we need to do to get this ready for the ribbon. Now I will go ahead and change out or close out some of these folders just so it doesn't look so intense. Just closing that all down. And so we have the family reunion text. We still have the in love and memory text. So that's why I said I was just changing this. All right, so let's kind of figure out here what we want to bring over. First and foremost, I want to take the photo itself, and you have the photo, it says photo with wings, and whether we're doing it with the photo with wings or not, I just want to right click and we're going to quick export as PNG, and it's going to be called photo with wings. If you don't want the word photo with wings on there, we're just doing that for the purpose of this class. Later on when you do this, don't worry about this. I just want everything to stay exactly what's named here so it'll be much easier to understand what replaces what, okay, in the template. So keep it as photo with wings. We're going to go ahead and save that. Okay. Also, we need some of these text elements here. So where it says we are family, we're not going to take this rounded text. So we're going to go ahead and turn that one off for just a moment. And we'll take this one that's straight across where it says we are family. And we're going to take just the we are family. And for this one, normally I do not have the show transform controls on. The reason why I do have it turned on, and we will have it turned on for class this time, is because you can see exactly what's selected here. So it does have a purpose when it's useful and not being bothersome. All right, so now I can right click on just this layer here, and I'm going to quick export it as a PNG. It's going to be called We Are Family, and this is the only one that's going to have a different name because it just depends on what you place there, what text you place there. So I'm saving that in my 153 folder. Then I'll take the Black Family Reunion, and this is in the first name folder. So I'm going to right click, where it says first name, quick export it as a PNG, and it's going to be named first name. I'll go to the 2021. This one's going to be called last name. So I'll right click, quick export as a PNG. Now that'll be last name. And then for the roses, we only want to keep the right roses for this particular ribbon because trying to save the clouds and all these other elements are going to be pretty much it's going to be futile to try to put all of that on this tiny ribbon. So we simplified the ribbon, used some of the elements, but we've overall just simplified the ribbon here. All right, so we got the roses here. So we're going to only save the right roses. So we'll right click, take the left roses, just turn them off for a moment. The left roses at the bottom, turn that off. And then we have these little scattered petals here. So we'll get the petal left, turn them off, the petal right, and turn it off. And now you'll see what I was talking about when it comes to exporting some of the elements that you're using in your all over graphics for other projects. So in this case, we'll go ahead and take the entire roses group now. And we're going to right click on the word roses, quick export that as a PNG. All right, so far we should have all of the elements that we need to bring it over into our ribbon template. So the beauty of having the smart objects is because you don't even have to really think. It thinks for you. That's why it's smart. All right. So let's start. Oh, another thing we need to export is the smart color. So if we're using these golds here, let me go to smart color 2, and I'm going to right click, and we're going to quick export just that little gradient swatch there and export that as smart color 2. All right. So here's the fun stuff. Now we just get to double click and change stuff out. So I'm going to do a save as just because we are going to save over these elements. So when I double click on the photo with wings, I'm going to go to my folder and I'm going to look for the one that says photo with wings. Okay, and this one I can put that one away now. Scroll up, because I only want to show you what you're going to see. So photo with wings, drag and drop it. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and delete the layer below it. Because it's a PNG, it's only going to want to maintain the one layer of this image, okay? I'm going to make it a little bit bigger, and I can fade it off a little more if I need to. And I'm just snapping it right there to the middle. Let's say yes to update. Let's see what that does. Beautiful family, by the way. All right, so for this one here, I have like a watermarked version of the photo. It's cutting off a little too much image, so I'm going to do Control T. I'll bring it in just a little bit here. Right, and in this case, let's say we're not doing doves. We can actually go to where the doves are and just turn those eyeballs off for the doves. Very simple. Now we also have the roses. So I'm going to right click on the roses. And if you remember, we saved just the top and bottom of the right roses. So we can come back to our folder. And where it says roses, we're just going to drag and drop. And look at that. It replaces exactly. We're going to get rid of the layer below it. Close it out and say yes, we want to save it. And now we have the gold roses there. So the first name, we're going to double click on the first name. Drag and drop first name in here now. And I'm actually going to stretch this out a little bit because we have a little more space here. Get rid of my first layer. And let's update that. And then the last name, remember we did the year for the last name, so it should still say last name copy. In this case, because the family reunion is so long, I'm going to move my text a little bit. Maybe even make it a little smaller. Now what I don't want to happen is for this to get cut off, so I think I might smush this in this way just a little bit. Because when that ribbon bends around the top, you will lose some of that image depending on, what angle you're looking at. So we said instead of in love and memory, we'll double click on that one. And it is changed to we are family. All right, and then finally we have this smart color here to change out. And it's just as simple as dragging and dropping our initial smart color. There we go. And of course we want to delete the original color that was there. Say yes to update. And now we have a ribbon with our new theme. Now in this case, let's say that that you wanted to add an element here. And this is kind of on the fly, but I think we can figure something out here. Let's say we wanted to find some gold balloons. Just look up a real quick image here. And also I'm going to put in, now it doesn't have to be really large, a really large image size, but if you're going to download elements, you might as well make sure that they are larger in size. Let's see, this is 800 by 800, that would work. Now I'm going to save the image and save it as gold balloons. Let's see if remove BG can remove the background. It removes some of the lines there, but this is good enough for us to use for this project. I just want to show you how everything doesn't have to be exact, how you put your own little play on things, even when it's a template. Okay, so now I'm going to drag and drop from my folder those balloons. And I rotated it using a Control T and grabbing that corner. And I'm going to press enter to lock in that transformation. Now this should be behind. Oh, it did leave the strings on there. Okay, I'm a little bit shy. This can be behind the family here. Now let's say I wanted to do two versions of this. I'm going to go Alt, click and drag to make a copy of it. And I can bring the opacity down on one, leave the opacity full on another, or vice versa. And I just added an element there. You could do roses, balloons. If you have like a character or a mascot for the school or something that you wanted to bring in there, this would be excellent places to bring that. So here is, see, we turned off the doves there. I'm going to rename this. Let's rename this as image here. Image or a logo. Let's say you wanted to even put a logo there. I'm going to rasterize this. Then I'm going to turn it into a smart object so that we have the alternate version, which will also be a smart object. And those will be linked now. All right. So that works there. Now there's probably a little bit I would tweak here, like the Black Family Reunion, that gold and white just doesn't have enough contrast around the text for me. So I probably would change that a little bit. But other than that, I think we're good to go. I'm going to turn on these guides though. Let's see. View, show guides. And the reason why I have these guides here is because this is a 7/8 inch ribbon, so approximately 0.87 inches. I am still giving myself plenty of playroom here because this is a 1 inch bleed, or a 1 inch wide image. So it has less than a 1/4 inch of a bleed. So I want to be very careful as to not put any text very close to these edges. Anybody's faces, like for instance, I probably take this photo down just a little bit again because it won't cut off much, but I just don't want a chance that it will cut off something really important. There we go. All right, and although we have a lot going on the shirt, and let me show you the shirt versus the, and let's turn this back on. Okay, so we have a lot more going on with the shirt, but it still coordinates, it still uses a lot of the elements without being so overwhelming for, for the sake of a ribbon. You have too much going on in a ribbon and you will not be able to read it. It won't be legible. Everything will look muddy. Your text won't, be legible to where folks could even read what's on there. Your images might even look really dull or muddy because it won't have enough detail to it. So don't try to put too much on a little tiny ribbon. Take that from somebody that's always trying to do too much. All right, so we'll go ahead and now we'll save this. So we'll go ahead and save overall. That's going to save everything we just did to the template. Oh, and also the type of ribbon. There are usually two types of ribbons that you're going to find, like in Walmart or even online. This I would recommend the satin ribbon. It's going to be 100% polyester. They also have a ribbon called grosgrain, and it's spelled like gross grain, Gross grain. A grosgrain ribbon has a very deep rib texture to it, and I would suggest against that if you're going to do photos. Because those ribs will kind of interfere with the details in the photos. But the satin ribbon will be really slick, really smooth. It'll have a nice appearance to it. So if you ask me, I would recommend the satin 7/8 inch ribbon. Okay, and we'll go over this again too when I do the physical demonstration. But good questions, y'all. All right, so I have another file for you. And that's a great question. Someone said, how would you print it? Well, I just knew you'd have that question for me, so guess what I did? A ribbon print file. And the reason why it says 24 up is usually when you're doing gang sheets, you're kind of wanting to number how many versions of it you can fit on that sheet. So this has 12 at the top, 12 at the bottom. And if you only needed to print 12, you could pretty much just choose which set you needed to print. And this is for a 13 by 19. So if you were printing this 8.5 by 11, you could just turn off one of these, and when you go to print, just make sure you move your print preview to where it prints the 8.5 by 11 version of it. All right, so you may get like, I think 10 of these to an 8.5 by 11, possibly. All right, and I will show you all how I print them, how I lay them out. I can put literally 12 pieces of ribbon on here and make 24 of these at one time if need be, which is extremely beneficial. I'm going to show y'all some tricks to how I get the ribbon not to, to go off track, and when I flip it over, it's still going to be lined up. So I'm definitely going to be able to print 24 of these at one time with no error or very little error at all. So I will show you those tricks and also show you the the attachments that you can use, whether you're using the pen. They have a safety. Of course, you can always use a typical safety pin, but they have another safety pin that has a flat back with adhesive. I like to use the clasp pins that are kind of like if you get a really nice pin that you collect for like your jackets and that sort of thing. Like to use those type of backs, so I'll show you that. And then like I said, you can always use just a regular old safety pin as well. So I'll show you those ways how we apply those. But in general, the idea is that you just want to be able to print these off. And I will show you how I would print, file, print. Oh, you know what? I got to show you how to change it out, huh? Let's see. Let's go to just the top here. You can double click. This is a smart object. On this ribbon here, remember we saved it as a PNG. Or I think we saved it as a PNG. So let's file, place embedded. Did I not save it as a PNG? Maybe I didn't. Maybe I missed a step. Here is our ribbon. We should go File, Save As. And then I have to save it as a PNG. Oh, it saved it in my temp files. Duh. I need to save it in my 153 file. I think we had some folks saving their Photoshop files to the temp folder, and that means it is going to forever disappear. So make sure Photoshop isn't saving your stuff to your temp folder. Okay, now we can double click here on that smart object for the ribbon. File, place embedded, or we can drag and drop the image like we've been doing. I just want to show y'all that it basically does the same thing. Sort by. Did I not save it as a PNG? Y'all, sometimes you know I don't multitask well, so I probably saved it as another PSB, which is a large Photoshop file. So let's try this one more again. Let's close out of that. Let's close out of this one. Go back to our ribbon template. File, save as. I'm going to save it as a PNG. There we go. So no, I didn't save it. All right, so let's go back to our print file. We'll double click on the ribbon template, smart object, and there it is right there. Preview just really small. And it's going to drop in there the precise size that we need it. Let's delete that bottom layer. Say yes to update it. All right, and this is how I would print. It looks really confusing and very busy, but you just got to imagine that each of these are going to be, this is actually 2 ribbons, one on top, one on bottom, and of course 12 going horizontally. So I will go to File, Print, tell my computer that I'm using my 16650, that's my copy 1. I go to my print settings and I already have 13 by 19 True Colors Innate Sublimation preset, which will mirror image and all of that good stuff. Photoshop manages colors, and you can use the Epson Inkjet Printer 07. And then I would hit print, and all of those would print at one time. All right, so I am going to just save that. And then this time, let's go back to our design and let's see. I'm going to check and see if anyone else dropped a photo. I can flip it real quick. I got E's daddy. Yes. Save image as. Erica, you look just like your daddy. Alright, he's a handsome one. I'm so sorry for your loss, baby. I know it's been a lot going on lately. And I appreciate all your strength. And if y'all don't know, Erica is the reason why we're even doing this template this week. Okay, so I had to come through for my girl. Alright, let's do, I'm going to just save this as photo 2, just so it won't be confusing. And then we'll go ahead and open up, oh, we already got remove BG open, perfect. So I'll just drag and drop photo 2 there. And I'm not worried about this down here because I'm going to fade it off anyway. So we'll go ahead and download that. And I like that he has on like a lime green and a blue, so I'm hoping maybe that'll make a very interesting color selection here. So actually, let's name that photo 3. So this is going to be project 3. All right, so all of the images that were from project 2, I'm going to go ahead and collect them now. Don't need that one. So project 2, photos, select all the gold stuff. And you'll see we're going to do the same exact steps here. Put those up. Oops, nope. Let's get these files. I need to create a new folder just for the second project. And put them in there. All right, so now we are working on project number 3, and let's go ahead and just make a project number 3 folder so we can just save everything to that folder number 3. It'll be nice and clean. All right, so let's go back to template now. And because this one is remembrance, I'm going to go back with the In Love and Memory text. Oh, you know what, before I do that, let me go ahead and I'm going to save this as my wallpaper image. Oh, I got to bring my roses back. So let's bring the left roses back. The left roses back here for the bottom. We're just turning the eyeball on for those. And the petals. And I'm going to go ahead and save this as a PNG. And put it in folder number 2. And now that that's done, I feel confident changing up the color schemes and everything because I at least have that saved. So first things first, I'm going to change out the photo here. And all I'm going to do is drag and drop right onto the artboard. So I'm going to take my PNG version of it, drag and drop it right there. And I'm going to bring it up a little bit so I know to fade it off at the bottom. Let's add a layer mask here. We'll just grab our brush and just do a little fade in there. And for this one, I'm going to take the family reunion text off. We'll go back to our original text. And now we're going to pick from these colors in order to make our smart color 2. All right, so Smart Color 2 is right now, it's at gradient. Before I do anything else, I'm going to go ahead and pick the colors that I want. So let's say I have this green here. I'll double click on it and I'm going to add it to my swatches. And once I see that exclamation point, I'm just going to shift the color until it's a safe color. So I'll add that green to the swatches and I'm going to call it 1. And you don't have to add it to the libraries. I really wish I didn't because it usually uses up a lot of space. So you can add it to the swatches without adding it to the libraries. So let me show you how that works too. So the second color, let's grab this light blue here. So that slate blue, we're going to add it to swatches. Now see what it says add to my current library? Take that off and it won't take as long to save your color. See how instantly it saved that color? And let's say I'm going to go with that darker blue. I like that kind of denim blue look. So let's go to add to swatches, take off, add to current library. And now I have those 3 colors. And of course, if I want to add another color, I can. But I'm going to go over to my Smart Color 2. And I'm going to change these colors out. So the one down here at the very end, the darkest color, I'm going to go back to my swatches now. The color library does not help me. I'm actually going to close that out. And let's see, for the darkest color, I'm going to select the dark blue. And dark blue for the darkest color. For medium tone, I'll select the lighter blue. And then for that lightest color, I'm going to throw that green in there. I think that'll look pretty cool. If I want to save that swatch, I can scroll all the way down here, hit new. Uh-oh, it's because I had this purples folder open. Let me close it, then scroll the way down to the bottom. Jeez Louise. All right, now let's hit new. There it pops up down here. And that's just if you created a color palette or a gradient that you want to use at a later time. Go ahead and save it. Okay, so now I'm going to save this overall change here. Alright, so instantly it changed those colors. And I'm thinking where this gradient is, it actually did a pretty cool job here of putting the green there, but I think I want a little more green towards the bottom. So I'm going to double click here, my gradient. And I'm actually going to get rid of the darker blue down there. And see how that looks. All right, so yeah, I like that better. And keep in mind, you can also go to your Smart Color 2. Let's say you wanted your Smart Color 2 just to be that bright green, or maybe even another color. You can change that out as well. So let me make it a little bit brighter green. These greens are going to be real hard for your monitor to accept. So let's just do that and let's see how this is going to work out. So for the roses here, I have Smart Color 2 activated. But you see Smart Color 1 is a different green. I just wanted you to show that you could do a solid color there too. And let's say, I think I want to go with that kind of denim blue there. Let's see how that looks. There we go, I like that. So I can go with the gradient that kind of blends it all together, or I can make it stand out and use my secondary color. But that's it. E, do you want me to change the name on here? So that, you know, we would do it the same way, and I think I will be able to save this version as well. Let's see. So I'm going to double click here and just put first name. That way it'll be easy for you all to edit. And then for the last name, and I'm going to go ahead and rename this. Oops, not that. I'm going to grab just the in love and memory part, and let's group that. And I'll call this one top message. So then that way that's what we'll replace on the ribbon. All right, and it's that simple. So I'm going to go ahead and start exporting my elements now. Of course, everything that I have here, I can export the entire artboard. So let me turn off my swatches here. So I just have a clean artboard. I can right click and quick export as a PNG. And now I'm going to save this in my folder number 3 because it's the third edit that we've done, third flip. That will be our art. Oh, thank you, E. Well, you gave me a beautiful photo, and I'm glad it had some color into it. The color is actually what drew my attention. And I love his off guard, too. All right, so I saved the entire image, so that'll be our 3D shirt image. But y'all keep in mind, too, let's go ahead, let's take this. And I'm going to alt click and drag this mask to the art layer. So let's just say you wanted a quick way to save this as a 13 by 19 without moving anything around. Oh, and I did want to show you, we can add back. So I'll leave that on there for you. Let's go ahead and add back the doves and the wings. If you wanted to do the halo, you can move the halo, or you could not use it all. Let's turn the halo off for this one and see. If you wanted the wings, then you would just move the wings. But I think for this one, I'm just going to do the doves because I want to show you variation. So this one will have the doves with no wings, and of course the family reunion one has no doves, no wings, and then the main one has the gates, the wings, the doves, the whole shebang. Okay, so I'm going to save this artwork again. Right click, quick export as PNG, and it may ask me if I want to replace it. I'm going to say yes. And for the 13 by 19 version, this is not what I recommend because I like to see my roses a little bit better. So normally what I do for that is, you could do this one, this is your shortcut, like hurry up and get a 13 by 19 version. But let me disable that layer mask. What I would do if I wanted a 13 by 19 version is to turn on the mask for the middle clouds. Oh, you know what? I think I ended up moving my mask for the background clouds. So let me alt click and drag and gain that one. And then there should be one for the front clouds too. So I like for the roses to pop out a little bit. And of course, let me pull these roses in just a little. That way you get a good 13 by 19 print out of that. Alright, so now if you wanted to save this as a 13 by 19, you would still go to the art folder, go to quick export as PNG, but this time, instead of letting it be named art, name it art-13x19, 13 by 19, then that way I have two variations of the art, a 13 by 19 version and an all over version. All right, now I'm going to go through the same steps to save my elements for the ribbon, okay? So for the first name, I have my first name there. I'm going to right click, quick export as a PNG. It's going to be called first name, and that's fine. Now the top message where it says in love and memory, I'm going to turn off the fancy curved one and turn on the simple flat one. And then I will right click on that folder called top message, quick export as PNG. And then I want to get the last name as well. Right click, quick export as PNG. I'm done with my text. It already has doves in it, so I don't need to export the doves, but you could export each individual doves if it was a template that you had where you wanted to use some of those elements. For the roses, remember we have to turn off the left roses. So I'm going to right click, turn off the rose at the top, right click, turn off the left roses at the bottom, and then I'm going to turn off both of the petals. Then I will export the roses folder, and it's just going to be these two roses here. Quick export as a PNG. Save those roses. And then finally, I need to grab my smart color. Right click. And that swatch there, I'm going to quick export as a PNG. And I'll know in a minute if I have all my elements. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and disable the layer mask so we have our full image again. And I'll go ahead and enable our roses again too. And although this is not a step of what we're doing today, I'm going to show you how to save the background and the foreground as PNGs as well. And that's going to be helpful if you're making tumblers or pillows or anything else that just has a different orientation than the all over t-shirt. Or let's say you're doing a youth shirt and it has more of a square orientation than the rectangle. Then you'll be able to use these foreground and background elements separate. What was I doing? I was clicking on the roses and bringing them back, the roses and the petals. There we go. And I'll turn this on for you all too so that it looks familiar. And let's go ahead and save this. Do the save dance. Yes, the chance of the wings and the staircase, it'll be back there for you. And as a matter of fact, let me go ahead and I'll show you that. There's a halo. There are wings. Just like that. And you can even take the whole photo with the wings, and there you have it. All right, and I'll show you how easy it is to make one photo have the wings versus another. Now, if y'all want to do this in class, it's absolutely, we'll have time to change out the photo and put wings on it if you want to, but it's just that simple. All right, so now let's go ahead and head over to our ribbon template. And this time I'm going to start with the Smart Color background. So we'll start with Smart Color 2, and we'll go to our folder number 3, and of course all of our assets are saved here. So I'll go to the Smart Color PNG, drag and drop it, hit enter to lock in my transformation, and let's delete the layer underneath it. Say yes to save those changes, and it should update immediately. There we go. Now for image number 1, let's go to the photo with the wings, double click on it. Double click on the thumbnail, that is. And let's go ahead. Oh, that's what we did not export. So let's go back to our t-shirt image here, where it says photo with wings. We're going to right click and quick export as a PNG. I told you we would know when it was time to change something out if we missed something. So photo with wings, we're going to save that. And then I'm going to close out of this so I can show you the way that we got to it. So right click, photo with wings. Let's double click on the smart object, and now we can drag and drop the image there. You have to delete the photo underneath it to update this, and make this a little bit smaller. I just want this version to be a little bit smaller than this version. And now we can turn off the image or the logo, or you can update it if you wanted to. I'm going to fade off the bottom down here because I do have a harsh line there, and y'all know I can't stand that. So let me add a layer mask, and I'll make my brush size a little bit smaller. And let's use black, because black conceals, white reveals. Now just do a nice little soft fade off right there. And that also, if I apply my layer mask there, I can probably make my image just a tad bit bigger. And say yes to save those changes. And now I should get rid of that hard line that was at the bottom of the photo there. There we go. Now if you want to bring the doves back, here they are. Now let's go ahead and focus on changing out the roses here. go back to our folder, the file name roses. We're going to drag and drop here. Delete the original layer. And I'm going to make this just a little bit larger. There we go. And that color is going to look really nice because we chose a gradient to go from a contrasting color. So once these crisscross, it'll add a little visual interest there. Okay, so where it says in loving memory, I'm actually going to replace that with the word that says top message. So forgive me for just a moment. Because this is what I wanted to say when you all open it up as a template. So it'll say top message and rasterize that and turn it back into a smart object. Let me check the image size here. Perfect. And then for the first name, we're going to double click on that. Change out the first name here. We'll delete the original. And then where it says last name, we can double click on that one. Drop in the last name. Delete the original layer. And I'm just resizing this a little bit. You'll have to resize it based on the length of the name and what you can really fit on there. And you don't have to do you know how I contrast the first and last name by using different fonts and techniques? You do not have to do that. You can type in first name, where it says first name, you can put first and last there and just have that as your text. I just try to give you something a little different, just to expand your horizons in Photoshop. But you are absolutely welcome to keep it simpler than I keep it. All right, so I think that is it. Let me go ahead and save this. Now I want to save it overall, but I also want to save it as a PNG. So I'm going to go File, Save As, and I'm going to save as PNG. Right, and I'm going to put it in my folder number 3. And then I'm also going to save the image itself as my third variation of this. Because I made it so that the file can't be really huge, so you can't just save layers and layers and layers. You have to save over the existing layers of the elements. I did that on purpose because I know our files can get really huge. So because I'm saving over these, I am saving the file as a different file name. All right, so now we're going to open where it says ribbon print 24 up. And I'll save this as version number 3 as well in my 3 folder. And same step here, I'll just go to my smart object and I can either drag and drop or I can go to File, Place. Let's do the File, Place since we've been doing dragging and dropping. I'm going to go Place Embedded and I'm looking for the ribbon template. I'll just type in an R, see if it finds it. I'm looking for the ribbon template, PNG. Watch, I saved it in the wrong place. Alright, so maybe maybe I didn't save it as the PNG. I thought I did though. So let's go to PNG. Ribbon template PNG. Oh, I know what it is. It's just showing that little square and it was throwing me off. So it was there the whole time. But if I go to hit save, it's going to ask me if I want to save over it. Alright, so now let's double click on the smart object for the print file. File place embedded. It's this one right here. Even though I just see the doves, I know by the name it's the ribbon template. PNG. There we go. I will delete the layer underneath. Close out, say yes to save. And now all of this is ready to print. All right, so now we get to move on to the mock-up, and I might be able to glance down at some questions. This is for class tonight, by the way. Like I said, we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on the shirt edit. Our goal is to teach you how to take some individual elements out of a template, such as this one for the all over shirt, and make coordinating items, such as the ribbon, okay? So I need to mark this up, which is going to be kind of weird, but it has a lot of curves. So let's see how we're going to do this. This is, let me grab our master mockup file, which is really huge. It was what, 151? 151 mockup. I'll call this 153 mockup. Let's put it in our 153 folder. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to do this every time because that will make this mockup file huge, super, super duper huge. But this is the same concept. Remember when we recently went over how to take the elements to make a hoodie, to take the same design elements from the all over templates and make a tumbler? Same idea here. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is make the ribbon variation. And that is also one of the reasons why I told you I wanted to export the background and the foreground elements. So let's do that now. 153 foregrounds right here. Right click and quick export as PNG. Put it in my number 3 folder. That's going to be my foreground. Background, right click, quick export as PNG. Put that in my folder number 3. Oops, no, I didn't want to do that. I just want to be background. Quick export as PNG, and if I don't click anything trying to be all fast, there we go. So we should officially be done with this file. However, if I missed anything, I could always come back and grab elements. So I'm going to close this file down though because I have 2 super huge files open at a time, okay? And as long as I save the elements, then I'm going to be good, and I do not need this major file open after this point. All right, so that's finished saving. I can close it down, and let's change some of these shirts here. Let's just see. Oh, did I not? I didn't think I did the 13 by 19. Dang, I don't want to open that up again. Oh no, I did save. I think I did save it. Just a different version of it. All right, so what I need to do at this moment is bring in, let's see, what can we turn off? So license plate we probably would not do. I'm going to turn off the license plate folder. I know I've seen, the memorial socks and stuff too. So let's just say that we're going to do a ribbon now. We haven't done a ribbon before. We have a photo of that ribbon. Let's see what we can do with it. So let's bring in the photo of the ribbon. And because the ribbon is our focus, a focal point here, I'm going to make sure I keep it big. Take up all this good space right here. And you see the texture in there and everything. You can see the tape that I folded and put behind there to make it work. All right, so I'm going to take this ribbon and clean it up just a little bit right here. That magic wand didn't really clean it up like I wanted to, so I'm going to use the pen tool and be a little more clean with it. Click and drag to get my curves, and then I click when I want an angle. So click when I want an angle, click and drag when I want a curve. And this just takes practice. I'm going to make this a selection, and I'll feather it just 1 pixel just so it has a little softness to it. And then I'm going to create a layer mask, but I need to do a special one. I need to hide the selection. There we go. And now I'm going to rasterize that layer and apply the layer mask there. Uh-oh, what did I do? Let me go back just a moment. Okay, it applied the layer mask that time. It didn't do it the first time. All right, let's zoom out just a little bit. I'm doing Control minus to zoom out. All right, so now here's the hard part. I'm going to bring in, let's say, because this is going to be a little different. It's not really the art foreground or background. This is going to be something totally different. So let's go ahead and drop in the image for the ribbon. So this one right here where it says ribbon template, the PNG version of it. Just drag and drop it in here. So this is going to be one of my editable objects here at the top, and instead of editing it directly, I'm going to alt click and drag, make a version of it. You won't have to do this. This will be already ready for you. Now, where in the world? I want to put it right on top of my ribbon. And I'm going to take these two, group it, and call this ribbon. Then I'll turn it off up here. This is kind of like my cheat sheet of all of the smart objects that are in my file. And y'all hear Photoshop breathing heavily. That's because this is a large file, so bear with me. So now my goal is to make this look believable as it is applied. So let's start with the name part first. Now this is approximately 1 inch. So it should cover this ribbon with a little bit of bleed. Then we'll do some, you know, funky warping and stuff as well. Now, because this is such a large image, I do want to, before I do this, hold on. Control T. I'm going to rasterize it and then make it another smart object. So that is not so large, because y'all have to imagine it's trying to keep that huge resolution, and I don't want it to do that. So I'm going to alt click and drag now here. I'll turn this one off. Now this is the fun part you don't get to see too often, but this is what I've taught you in a few classes now, how to make your own mock-ups. So we did that with the, what did we do that with? Was it the pillow, the tumbler, the journal? So there are several classes that show you how to make your own mock-up. I'm just resizing this to make sure I just have a little bit of bleed so it's believable that this is going to cover the ribbon. Right, I'll press enter to lock in that transformation. Now the fun part is going to be figuring out the sections here. So let me go to my ribbon, zoom in a little bit. I'm going to use my pen tool to create some sections here. And I might have to zoom in just a little bit more. So you will not have to do this in class. However, this is something you probably do want to practice doing if you're making your own mock-ups. Just using my pen tool, clicking and dragging. You have to be aware of how long and what angle you draw your handles so that you consistently follow the path. It just takes a little practice. I'm still not the best at it, but I will say I've gotten much better at this because I'm no longer intimidated by the pen tool or my laziness, whichever one was keeping me from using the pen tool all these years. Okay, so I have that selected. I'm going to make a selection, and this one, I'll feather it 1 pixel. That's fine. So what I'm going to do is take this ribbon template and let's do a new group. And then on that group, I'm going to make a layer mask. And if you see, it made it black all the way around that selection. So now I can take the ribbon, drop it inside of that group that has the layer mask on it, and now all of a sudden it's acting as my fill there. I'm going to take this and make the blend mode be multiplied, and now all of a sudden it looks like it's printed into the fabric. Y'all see that? Make this just a little bit larger so I can cover the bleed area there on the ends. Oh, you know what? I left the In Love and Memory on there. I was wondering why that looked janky right there. Let me open that back up. There we go. And now you'll see how easy it is once I do save as and save it as a PNG. I can just easily update that mockup. Here we go. So now it no longer has the double text there. I feel a little bit better. And let's go ahead and color the second side. So I'm going back to, I'm just going to duplicate this group as a matter of fact. Duplicate it, but then I'm going to remove or delete the layer mask. Turn this eyeball off for just a moment. And now let's do the whole tracing thing again. No, it's not the most fun thing in the world, but it has to be done. And I think I'm going to start down here at the bottom. Got my pen tool. Just click to get that corner. Then I'll click and drag to create these curves. Now I'm going to make this continuous even though it's cut off, and I'll show you how I'll avoid that overlap in just a moment. And then we'll also keep in mind here that the inside of this ribbon is going to be white, so I'm going to leave it just like that. If you plan on coloring the other side of the ribbon, then you can color that ribbon there the same way I'm doing here. Alright, so let's turn that into a selection. We'll feather it 1 radius, and let's go ahead and make this a layer mask now. Let's turn that on. And of course, the template is not going the right way of, it's still going the same direction as this one. So we're going to have to Control T to transform it. And we'll get it round about right. And I'm just changing the angle here. Now, of course, this has curves and bends in it, so typically I would end up doing some warping and distorting here, but I'm trying to keep this one really simple. All right, now where this overlaps is going to be a problem. So I'm going to Control click on this previous layer mask here. Then I'm going to come over to the layer mask for the back layer, actively select it, get my brush tool, and let's go ahead and just mark that out. Control D to deselect. And now that is a pretty accurate representation of what this would look like. I'm going to squish this up just a little bit because I'm not doing my curves, so I feel like I am missing out on how much of the text in the image would be showing, so I'm just squishing it up a little bit. Then pulling it down. This isn't a true, usually you mess with either the perspective or you're warping it to make it look bent up. I'm trying to keep it really simple so we can get this uploaded for class, so I'm not doing all of those things. Alright, and let me I'm trying to see if I have any drop shadows or anything on these products, because I'll add the drop shadow. Maybe I don't. Looks like I do though. I think it's probably on the shirt. Yep, it is. So let me grab this drop shadow. I'll copy that layer style, and then I'm going to add it to the ribbon. the ribbon photo. Let me go ahead and save these changes. It's updated, see what's going on now. All right, so it looks pretty believable to me. Y'all let me know what y'all think. All right, Chrissy Boo said she was about to try this from a TikTok she saw. Well, I'm glad. Somebody always come through at the right time. I'm glad I can rescue you, love. This is no problem at all. This is actually unfortunately this is for a purpose for Erica. Y'all know our admin in our group. So Erica's been faced with yet another tragic um, death in the family, and if y'all don't know, that is the way that we met. And she's always come through for me as the admin for this group, even before I knew I needed or wanted an admin. She stepped up and she made that position, and she made herself basically uh, the lifesaver of this community. So in return, I will forever be grateful, and I will forever support her and love on her and show her that she means a lot to us. So definitely, our condolences for you, E. And I know this will be a difficult project for you to work on, but it's here for you, babe. I hope that um, it brings you a little bit of comfort to be able to, to work through this. And I know sounds like a lot, but sometimes our artistic representations give us the strength that we need to push through some things as well. You have a way to get it out. So I think this is going to be a pretty cool project for you. I can't wait to see how it turns out for you. I know you're going to put your love and your heart into it just like we always do. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. I know I told y'all I really wasn't planning on doing this, but let me let me go ahead and change out some of these smart objects. I'm going to close down everything here. So now the ribbon is there. If you don't want to see something, just turn off the folder for it. Okay. All right, so now let's kind of do this quick and painless. I'm gonna close up these folders I was working on. All right, so let's double click on the 13 by 19 art, and I believe I have a 13 by 19 here that I can place. All right, so that changed the 13 by 19 art here. Let's do the overall art, which is just the all over version. And we'll drag and drop the all over art on here now. It's just called art. You can see how it mocks up the tumbler there. This also, if you notice, kind of takes the excess part of the print there and does the socks, but of course you can move that around to where it showcases something else and use a different part to show the socks. So just giving you some ideas there. I'm going to keep it simple though because I don't want to spend time on that. I just want to show you that you can, of course, change that up. Let's see. What else do we have here? The background image. I told y'all if you save your background separate from your foreground, it'll save you. So here's my background. Give it a little time to update that one. And if you notice, I don't know if you can see, it's changing some of the elements out on the hoodie. All right, so the logo, we don't really have a logo here, but if you wanted to, you can place your foreground image there. So let's grab the foreground image. Or maybe let's just do the photo with the wings. I think that would work. And let's turn off this one here. Now this is a PNG, so that means we have to delete the unused layer. And you should see on the socks, it should update. Oh, that's the foreground there. That's the logo. So now let's update the foreground. Same thing here. And I'm just going to create a clipping mask so it clips it down to that area. Or let's release that clipping mask. I'm just going to make a clipping mask out of the previous one. Oh, and when we did the hoodie class, I think it was class number 151, we came up with the art right bottom, basically just allowing us to do little 13 by 19 presses all over. So if you wanted to change that, of course, you had that ability to do that with the art bottom right and left. We're just going to end up taking that one off. And then for this one, we don't really have anything here for the art bottom, but we shall take a little background here. Maybe use those roses right throughout there. Create a clipping mask and just make something out of it. Now this is a PNG, so we're gonna have to save over the previous layer. That'll just give us a little something down there. And we are not doing this in class. We're mocking up this ribbon. I'm just showing y'all that y'all have options here. And I think I'd rather the foreground than the logo, so you can put just the logo, or you can put the foreground. I think I'm going to do the foreground there. And now we have a collection. So let me go ahead and change this to Innate Academy 153 now. And you will get this mock-up for free, of course. We won't mock it up in class, and I don't think I'm even going to give you the mock-up file until after class. Because we're doing a lot with just simply turning it from a t-shirt to a ribbon template. So I don't want to spend too much time mocking it up, because we've done it time and time again. As a matter of fact, open up course number 151 and 150, and you'll see how to mock everything up just as I did here on this video. Just gonna make a quick little gradient change here. And then my bullet points, let's change that color out. And I like this fresh color combination. I don't think I've ever done green and blue like this before, so I like it. All right, so 153, we are going to do smart color change. The idea for this one is this whole ribbon. So we're going to do the ribbon design from all over shirt template. I have to make sure I spell correctly. All right, so it does involve smart color change. Y'all are gonna be so happy about that one. If you've ever done this template, the regular Innate Lab template is not a smart color one. Although it has some smart objects, this is much more simplified. Like I said, I'm becoming a better teacher because of you all. So I'm actually making templates that used to take 10 minutes, now they take 5 minutes or less. So this is now going to be a 5-minute quick smart color template. All right, so we'll do so this is going to be a ribbon. So you get the ribbon template file, and you also get the ribbon print file. And it'll be a multi-print file. All right, so all I need y'all to do for class is just to bring a photo to switch out. That's it, just a single photo. If you happen to need to change anything else other than that, you can change it after we do class, because there are several things you can change out on this file. Don't want you to think that you're limited, but I do want you to understand that what the purpose of class is. So let me take that. All right there for the pillow. I'm just going to shift it up just a little bit. And if there are other things, like this is a journal would actually, be pretty good for something like this. I didn't think about that. Another thing for remembrance projects is that I used to love to make are the slates. So the sublimation slates, they look like rocks. Well, they are rocks. They flatten and they have like really rough edges, but they have clocks like that. Clocks would be a good way to do something that is commemorative and also just timeless. Literally timeless. So those sort of things you want to start adding to your mock-up repertoire. So we have that here, and we'll just keep building on this this template until it blows somebody's computer up. And I'm saying that, but I'm being serious at the same time, that these mock-up files are going to be huge by the time I keep adding substrates. So please, even if you're using it for a particular project, trim it down. Take off the items that you don't need. If you never do a hoodie and a tumbler, for a project, don't keep saving that file with all of these elements. Go ahead and take them out, because you'll realize that the more you save versions of this file, the more space is going to be taken up on your computer. All right, so Make sure you have an external hard drive, Google Drive, cloud backup. Do not save all of this stuff to your hard drive. These are huge files and they add up. Deshanta, I think we did one for the chip bag. Yep, we have a chip bag template. I forget what course that is, Corey, if you want to, and Corey demonstrated that too. So Corey did a live with us. She's a coach and did the live coaches corner session where she showed us how she did the chip bags. So we have a template for that. And as you all ask me for things, I am adding to the academy. So if it's something that you want to learn or you want to see, keep asking. Even if it seems like I'm not listening or I take 3 months to get to it, I'm listening. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and just take that hoodie. I'll bring it over just a little bit. So the focus of this one is definitely the ribbon there. All right, so let me go ahead and save this mock-up here. And let me get this uploaded for you all because I'm running a little bit late. So class is going to begin at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. The only thing that you'll need to do, of course, is download the files and go ahead and install your fonts. If you have a photo that you're going to use, go ahead and have the background cut out for the photo so that the first part of the session is really easy and then we can focus on modifying those elements for the ribbon itself, okay? All right, and I see y'all over there brainstorming. So yes, absolutely. The same way we're mocking this randomness up right now is the same way we can do a party favors version, or maybe there'll be a remembrance package, or maybe there'll be a school spirit package. And maybe the school spirit package would have, the hoodies and t-shirts, socks, maybe even the tumblers. The remembrance might have the pillows, the slates, and clocks, and things that would really appeal to the different populations that you're going to be marketing towards. I think that's an excellent idea. So we should be building on that every time. All right, so I'm closing out of this stuff, saving it. I'm going to go ahead and get it ready to upload. Do y'all have any questions before I drop y'all off and meet y'all back at 8 o'clock p.m.? Mrs. Crafty Creations, how do you sign up for the Academy? Erica, if you would post the Academy link on the chat, please. And if you have questions, contact Erica Kane in the Innate Creatives Facebook group. And she can also walk you through how to sign up if you're not sure. But if you want to do, and I'll show you online as well because I'm just talking, so I might as well at least show you. But yeah, once you click on the link that Erica posted, you'll see that there are two options. There is for membership here, you have a $30 a month membership and a $60 a month membership. So the $30 a month will automatically it unlocks 8 courses every single month. So even though it says 4 courses a month, I think I need to update that. It's really 8 courses a month. So, because you unlock 2 templates every week. So you unlock the new template that just came out the previous week, and then you unlock the number template that you should be on. So let's say you initially start, you're going to get 101, 102, 103, 104. 7 days later, you open up 105. 7 more days later, you open up 106. So it's basically leaving you with projects to do, at least 2 projects to do every week, as long as you stay a member. And if you are a $60 member, the difference between a $30 and $60 membership, the VIP members get to attend the live classes. That's where I'm looking at your screen and we're all working through the templates. That's what we have going on tonight. Those classes are typically Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it just allows me the opportunity to help you get through the session. I can show you things that you may typically get stuck on by yourself, and then you don't have that input. So that's your time to get live help. And if you're a VIP member, you can attend the live classes, the regularly scheduled live classes for free. And then if you're a $30 member, you can use your coupon code towards the live classes. And of course, the VIP members have a 75% off coupon code that they can use for any pre-recorded class that they want early access to. Now, keep in mind, you're going to get access to all of these classes eventually as long as you stay a part of the Academy. You're going to unlock 8 courses every single month. So if you want to unlock something early, let's say you wanted to unlock the graduation file, the 127, which is really popular. Where is it? 120, no, not 125. So it has the stole and the graduation shirt, and it designs it all simultaneously. Let's say you don't want to wait until this one unlocks, because this one won't unlock until probably 20 weeks in. So if you want to do that early, you don't pay $30. You use your 67% off coupon code or your 75% off coupon code if you're VIP, and you're able to get access to that class, and it comes with the templates and everything that you need to achieve this exact result right here. So everything that you see on these thumbnails, you are able to create that yourself with what's in the class, the templates, and everything that's included. Okay. So this is just some of the classes. Of course, I told y'all you would start the membership with 101. And we have live workshops that we do too. So pay attention to the Innate Creatives Facebook group, because right now we have one scheduled for Houston. And even if you're not in the area, it will be a good excuse to come out if you wanted to be in that area. That's why we call them destination workshops. Come on out, with your family and have an excuse to write it off for business, because you will be spending a lot of time on that weekend trip for business. So I encourage you to come out even if you're not local to that area. Let's see, we're also doing New Orleans, and that is going to be the 20th of November. The 13th of November is Houston, and then I believe it's around the 4th of December, we're doing Los Angeles. And in February, we'll start over. We're going to start doing 2-day events now, because it's really, I'm telling you, we go from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and sometimes later, depending on how much y'all really want to learn and do. And it is very intense. So we're going to start breaking it up into 2-day sessions for the new year. So we're going to do a Saturday and a Sunday. That way it gives us a little more time to relax. It's not as intense, and you're able to absorb a little bit more over those couple of days. Yes, I will add Sizzle for Houston. Thank you, E. I appreciate you telling me that. Uh, Rashonda, the package. I have a special for all the classes that were from year one. That was our commemoration of our first full year of the Academy. And you basically unlocked all of those courses at once. So now that you're a member, you will unlock the active new courses as you're staying an active member. So you will be unlocking the pre-recorded versions with the $30 membership. And if you ever want to take a live class, then you just use your 67% off coupon code to take the live class. And I believe it's less than $20 to do the live class instead of $60. And if you wait until it's pre-recorded and you just need it early, then you would be paying about $10 for the pre-recorded class. No, you didn't duplicate your purchase, because if you had not paid for the package, you would not have access to those classes right now. You would have to wait to unlock each of them. So basically, instead of waiting an entire year to unlock all the courses, you paid there's a special price for members where you can pay and unlock all of the courses and not have to wait the year to unlock those. So no, it wasn't a duplicate purchase. It might seem a little confusing, but basically, um, you got you unlocked each course for probably less than $4 a piece and unlocked them all early. All right. How do you print the shirt from Photoshop, Kayla? I have a few classes. One of the classes, and I'm going to update and do a new all over class. But just check the YouTube. I have several videos on how we print and press. And then I also have the workshop that we're doing now shows you how we print and press and tile, even how you tile the all overs, how you press an all over sheet even with the small 16 by 20 press, all of that good stuff. And also I would encourage you to join the Innate Creatives Facebook group because a lot of our coaches will be able to walk you through just that. And we do have some really great coaches. Hey, coaches, if you are in the chat right now, go ahead and let folks know who you are and how they can contact you. Yeah, if you turn off the $30 membership, Rosha or Rashonda, you will end up, you won't have access to the new stuff anymore. So I have had somebody make that mistake. They thought if they did the package deal that they didn't need the membership anymore, but then they weren't getting the new courses after that. And once you drop membership, you have to start from the beginning. So I don't want you to have to do that if you're finding it helpful for you. Deshanta, if you're interested in being a coach, definitely contact Erica Kane in the Innate Creatives Facebook group, and she can send you the link to show your interest, and we can, or you can even ask her for the information for the meeting, because usually we host our meetings after class on Wednesdays. So after class, we will have a meeting tonight for the coaches and business partners. Corey is a coach. Corey, put your Facebook, because I think your Facebook is not Corey Bridges. I think it's Bridges Corey. the and let's paste the Facebook group there. Yay! Nikki got a big boy press. All right, awesome. Okay, now it says I'm having some issues right now with the internet, so hopefully you all can still hear me. I'm going to go ahead and upload this class. It's going to take me a few minutes to get everything ready, but you will see it right here. It'll say Innate Academy 153 course. It'll be available to you right here. And for those who are $60 members, make sure that you check your credit codes, your master credit codes, and you should be able to comp the class tonight by using that coupon code, okay? All right, loves, I'll see you tonight, Helena. See some of y'all tonight. And even if I don't see you tonight, don't be a stranger in the Innate Creators Facebook group. Reach out to the coaches. I am not able to do one-on-ones anymore, but the coaches are able to do one-on-ones. The coaches are able to design PNG files for you all. The coaches are able to even print because we have it to where the templates, you're able to edit them all you want and use them for end-use products, but you're not allowed to send them to printers because we have our own printers who are within our network who actually pay to license um, to um, to sell the PNGs and also to print these files. So we have to be protective of our community. We have to be protective of our intellectual property and make sure that we are respecting those boundaries and reaching out where we need help to the appropriate places. So I'm not able to do one-on-ones anymore. I know I get that question a lot, but I have cloned myself in the form of coaches, and most of these coaches have been a part of the academy for almost a year, if not longer than that. They know my templates inside and out, as well as how to take, like we did tonight, take a template and convert it to a different substrate, mock it up, how to print, how to press. Even if you have issues with sublimation in general, they are coaches that are there to help you with their experience level. They have different rates that they charge. Some $30 to $60 an hour to help you through your troubles. But I promise you, it's worth it if you can get something solved in an hour versus tinkering around with it for hours on end. Trust me, I wish I had coaches when I was learning. Um, so so my goal is to find problems that you all are saying that you're having, and let's make some solutions. Let's develop some solutions together. One of those solutions is having coaches that can help you. Okay, so definitely reach out to the coaches. They'll identify themselves in the Innate Creators Facebook group. You can also type in Coaches Corner on the YouTube channel, and you'll see some of the coaches have actually demonstrated some of their abilities. And we'll have some more coaches coming out with Coaches Corner videos too. All right, love. So I'm so happy that you all are here and still here with me. But let me get ready for class tonight, and I will check you all soon. All right? Good deal. And thanks, Corey. I appreciate you sharing with her about the split template too. So, all right, y'all. I appreciate y'all. I love you dearly. And until next time, bye.